Hello everyone. I'm probably going to cross-post this on multiple media platforms. I know I have a TikTok, I just don't use it very much. But this is something that I feel I need to get off my chest. For my Facebook friends, when I post this on there, will know who I am, obviously. But for anyone who doesn't, my name is Pip. I am a 32-year-old, nearly 33, transgender, genderqueer, non-binary individual. And I am currently kind of in the middle of exploring my gender presentation to be more feminine, to be more girly, because that's what I want. That's who I am, and that's kind of what I want to express. But recently, the tragic news has been unveiled that a transgender teenage girl named Brianna, I can't remember the last name off the top of my head, and I probably can't pronounce it anyway, I do apologise, but transgender teenage girl was stabbed to death in Linear Park, 5 minutes from where I live. So yeah, this is a bit of a shock to the system, as you can probably guess, and that's putting it lightly, that's an understatement. And the thing I want to talk about is that I kind of recognise the experience that this girl has gone through to some extent. I am assigned male at birth, and throughout high school I was completely oblivious to anything trans-related. I didn't know what it was. But when I was in high school in 2005, the one thing you couldn't be was gay. The word gay was used as a stick to beat you over the head with over and over, and potentially sometimes literally. I wasn't really subjected to much in the way of physical bullying. It did happen, but the incessant insults and the phrase, tell a lie often enough and loud enough and people will start to believe it. Yeah, it's that kind of deal. When you hammer home particular insults that you are this terrible thing called gay, over and over, then needless to say, it starts to sink in. It starts to make you fear that if you deviate from the cishet normativity of that culture in any way, shape or form, you will be an outcast. You will be putting a huge target on your back. And this teenager was living her best life as her true gender. And even though I probably only experienced a slither, a tiny, tiny portion of what she has gone through, I can see how easily that could have been me. This homophobia was unchallenged. There was no information in high school about any LGBT topic. Like, the most I heard about it was one of my friends at the time getting sent out of the class because they were talking about how much gays were wrong. That's the extent of it. There was no knowledge or resources or support, and I distinctly remember one time when I was in high school, I'd been to the Manchester Science and Industry Museum. They had a special exhibit on insects. And I found this little toy ring that had this fly on it. And I thought that looked cool, so I'd wear it. And then one of my teacher's assistants who was with me said, I thought you were actually a boy. They were questioning my gender because I was wearing a plastic ring with a fly on it. Let that sink in for a minute. Let's just really think about the kind of culture that this is promoting. And now you have a much greater awareness in general culture, in popular culture, about trans people, about gay people, about anywhere on the LGBT spectrum, that there are more ways to experience being a human. There are more ways to experience your life, and you should be free and validated to promote it however you want. And yet this is seen as grooming. There are so many right-wing bigots like Matt Walsh, Libs of TikTok, Gays Against Groomers, Valid L's, so on and so forth, who are all trying to reverse all this progress that has been made about LGBT people and our rights. Consider how they are trying to push us back to the Dark Ages, and consider the kind of fear, intimidation and outright violence that this is promoting. They don't want kids to be safe from groomers. They don't want kids to be safe from, sexual predators who would exploit their naivety. They want them to be uninformed. They want them to be darkened. They want to be completely oblivious and to be afraid of being LGBT, and to do so, they are treating it as if it's some kind of indoctrinating cult where you have to be a certain way. At no point in my life, especially primarily as an adult, has anyone said, you must be trans, you must be non-binary, you must be asexual, you must be this, must be that. Never have I been told that by any trans person. All I was told is that these people exist. This is a word, this is a label that describes a particular type of person. That's it. These people exist. These people deserve to be legitimised, and so on and so forth. And yet, this is all being twisted through insidious lies that is literally killing people. I can't stress that enough. Literally killing people. And right now, it's difficult to know what to do when the media itself is perpetuating this harm through dangerous misinformation about trans people, dead naming dead teenage girls, showing no respect or no acknowledgement that they may be a trans person. What are you going to do? So, I guess what I'm trying to say is that this is why we need to fight back. This is why we need to cut to the truth. We need to get rid of all the bullshit and the pick-me gays, who are probably run by cishet people anyway, who are insisting that gay people are being erased because it's no longer acceptable to be bigoted against them. We need to completely smash the patriarchal gender norms and the reactionaries who are trying to feed this ignorance, and we need to loudly, clearly and explicitly state the truth. That we are not telling kids how to be. We are giving them the option to understand how they could be if that's right for them. There is no secret, dangerous chemicals that are, being given to them to castrate them. No one is forcing them to get surgery, before they're an adult. This is all optional. This is all something you can do as an adult. Some people do this, other people don't. Maybe it's right for you, maybe it's not. But right now, you have time to explore yourself, reflect, change your presentation, names, pronouns, all these social details that go into social transitioning that can make a world of difference. And this is especially true for schools. This is why we need to make sure that this information is being taught in schools. We need to make sure that there is this support structure so that LGBT kids can be safe. Because guess what? If you take away nothing from my nearly 10 minute odd ramble, then you can take away this. Nobody is forcing kids to be anything. We are letting kids be themselves. And we need to make it explicitly clear that bigotry is never okay, never acceptable, and that they can be themselves freely without fear of repression or without the threat of being literally murdered. So, whenever you see people like Matt Walsh or Libs of TikTok spreading fear that there are pride flags in classrooms and that we should homeschool our kids to insulate them, put them back in a bubble and keep them away from all this knowledge because of some scary social contagion, we need to support trans kids. We need to support LGBT youth to make sure that they are safe, so that once and for all we can put a stop to these brutal atrocities. This is not okay. This should never be okay. And the time has long passed that we stop playing to their narrative and we cut through this bullshit to tell them the truth. I don't actually know if this is going to go on TikTok or YouTube or wherever, but I guess I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. So, if you've been listening to this unscripted ramble while I wait for a taxi, I thank you. And take care of yourselves.